Picture this, it's the early 2000s. Every NBA superstar seems to share a common thread. They come from the hood. From streets, they escape poverty, violence, and broken systems to rise to greatness. Names like Allen Iverson, LeBron James, Kevin Garnett. Their backstories as iconic as their performances. But now, fast forward to 2024, the NBA is still packed with stars, but something is different. Those inspiring come up from the hood stories just ain't happening no more. Instead, many stars are emerging from more affluent environments, elite development systems, and suburban backgrounds. The question is, why? Why aren't today's NBA superstars coming from the hood like they used to? And what does this shift mean for the league, for the sport, and for the culture? For decades, basketball wasn't just a sport in America's inner cities, it was a lifeline, a way out. In the 90s and early 2000s, the NBA was a sanctuary for players who used the game to escape the hardships of life. It's not often you see someone go from survival mode in the streets to dominating on the biggest basketball stage in the world, but Allen Iverson did just that. Growing up in Hampton, Virginia, Iverson faced a life full of challenges. In those rough neighborhoods, survival wasn't guaranteed. For him, basketball was more than just a sport, it was his way out. He dealt with adversity at every turn, from run-ins with the law to the constant threat of his future slipping away. At one point, it felt like his dreams of the NBA were gone for good. But Georgetown gave him that one chance and Iverson ran with it. It wasn't long before the world saw the greatness he had all along. Stories like Iverson's, where a player rises from the streets against all odds, are rare today. The NBA has changed, so have the paths to get there. And it makes us wonder, has basketball passed its role as a savior for kids from the streets? Let's take a look at today's NBA stars. Jason Tatum, Stephen Curry, Trae Young. What do they have in common? They some light-skinned ass niggas. That's tough. These guys had access to the best facilities, private coaches, and started structured basketball development at an early age. This shift isn't accidental. It's part of a larger system. AAU basketball has become the main pipeline to the NBA. But here's the catch. It's expensive. Kids from wealthier families are starting earlier, playing year-round, traveling nationwide, and honing their skills in ways that many inner-city kids simply can't match. Basketball is no longer the great equalizer. It's becoming a game of access, privilege, and resources. Now, let's break it down. Why isn't the hood producing NBA stars like it used to? The answer is in the economics of youth sports. Over the last few decades, the cost of youth sports in America has skyrocketed. From AAU fees to private trainers to travel expenses, playing basketball at an elite level has become a luxury. And that's the problem. A recent study shows that 45% of youth sports participants are from families earning over $100,000 a year. Meanwhile, only 19% come from families making less than $25,000. Inner city kids are falling behind, not because of lack of talent, but because of lack of resources. So, while basketball courts might be everywhere in urban neighborhoods, the path to the NBA is no longer on the playground. It's in expensive gyms, well-funded AAU teams, and in private training programs.